Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Stockbridge Bowl Stewardship Commission meeting of July 9th, 2021. We have minutes that were prepared for us, and I wondered if anyone has looked at them. There are a couple of corrections, minor corrections. Let's see if I could repeat them. They had to do with the water, sewer, and water hydrants to be cleaned and flushed. It was actually my contribution, and we had basically changed some of the wording. I think that the wording is now correct and it's been put into the minutes. So can I have a motion to accept the minutes as they were given? Second?
Second.
Okay, all say aye.
Could we just stipulate for the record the date of the minutes that we're approving?
Yes, thank you. The dates were 6/25, not 6/18. That's correct.
6/25/21. Yep. Okay.
Well, did I write the wrong minute?
No, you had the right one. Yeah. Okay, so now as a point of reference, point of announcement, Jamie and Roxanne could not be present at today's meeting, and I'm standing in for Jamie.
Can I, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can I just suggest that I'll take the minutes this time? Okay, and then I'm going to make a motion that because we're still in the minutes, I just want to stick with the agenda of the minutes thing before we get into something. Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that from now on, we rotate with last name alphabetically, taking the minutes until we have a secretary, just so that we can get that organized, unless somebody, not including the chair. The chair can't obviously take the minutes at the same time, but that's my motion.
So you'll do the minutes today.
I'll do the minutes today, and I'm just going to make a motion that we rotate in terms of our last names to take the minutes, so we can each anticipate that and sort of share the work, because it is a little bit of an effort to do it, and I'll take them today. Okay.
What about the secretary? Are we getting a secretary sometime?
I understand from Roxanne that the process is in place, that they have to put out an advertisement, and there has to be, competitive.
So it may be a few months.
So we'll take a while. We don't know exactly, but in the meantime, I think we need to have the minutes predictably accounted for. So
all right. So Charlie,
I'll start today. KE. Gary would be next.
I have a question for you. If we're recording, why do we need to take minutes?
Pardon me?
If we're recording our meetings, why do we need to take minutes? We have permanent records.
Well, I don't know exactly what the law is on that, but traditionally every committee is responsible for minutes. The recording is another backup for the minutes, and in fact, that's a way to do the minutes. You don't have to do it during the meeting. You can do it later on. And look at the recording to do it. But as I understand, for reference, the general public and other people in the government would want to have that available rather than having to go through the whole recording. Okay. You know what I mean? And it is. I'm not sure who owns these recordings. Who has them? Whether the town actually has these recordings, or CTSB TV, which is always very gracious about that. Thank you, Steve. I don't know how available they would ever be in the future. Okay. I don't know.
All right. So there's a motion to go ahead and have one of the members begin taking minutes, and they will start with Charlie. All agreeable to that?
I'm just going to say that I just finished doing the minutes. First of all, it's impossible for me to write when I'm thinking and talking, and I have issues, as a lot of people my age do, with essential tremors. So for me, it's really hard to write. But it takes about 2.5, 3 hours to do these minutes afterwards, to look at the video, go through it, stop it, analyze it. So we should think about whoever's doing the minutes. I mean, it really is a long.
That's why I haven't done them yet, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't think someone like you can take 2 or 3. It really took me, seriously, it took me maybe between 2 and 4 hours to do that, to do the minutes.
And to your point, while you're in the meeting,
You can't write.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
But the obviously the video is very helpful.
Yeah.
And then sometimes watching a video
So-
back, you might get too in depth.
What I'm trying to say is people like Mike Buffoni, who
But
have,
I certainly can do it.
oh, you can? Okay, so
I mean, why not? Everybody's pitching in and, you know.
make me look bad after I'm trying to get you off of it.
I can't hear anybody. That's my problem.
Okay.
Hopefully, Michael, we won't have to do this beyond this month.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to all those that are doing it, I really give a lot of credit. I don't know if,
Why do you think I'm the one making the motion?
all right, let's keep going.
All right, so motion is passed. All right, thank you. We have some announcements. I think I spoke with Roxanne about getting a member from the Sportsman Club. And I think, Mike, you were going to talk to the Sportsman Club.
Yeah, I will.
And see if we find someone to replace Gary.
Yep.
All right, great. Let's see, agenda items. As you know, we had discussed invitation with Dr. Snook for the cyanobacteria monitoring. Charlie, do you have any update on that?
Yeah, I made a suggestion about this at the previous meeting, and I know that Roxanne actually communicated with our guys from GZA, and Dr. Burpee gave a little bit of feedback about that. So what I'm going to ask is that we just table this discussion until the next meeting so we can get that feedback from Roxanne, and then we can move on with the idea and get all the information.
Okay, sounds good.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I just ask, we don't have a computer here. Who is on Zoom? Is anybody from other than,
We have a way of telling who's on Zoom. Let's see.
is there anyone from the SBA? Is there anyone from town? Is there, I feel,
Managed participants. We have
can you,
We have several people on. We have Anita, we have Lori, Louis Corman, Pat Kennelly. So we have several people.
They showed it up on the screen the other day.
Okay.
You could see everybody that was talking and with our water sewer meeting.
All right. Well, we had to discuss the lake management plan, but again, Roxanne is not here to talk to us about well, she did talk to us about Solitude the last time she was here. But we needed to get some more information before the harvesting begins. So we need to get some more information on that. Michael?
yeah, I have no idea. What happened was an NOI was sent out. There were issues, from what I understand, from NHESP. Roxanne wanted Sally Underwood Miller, though, to write up the order of condition so that we can go. Then NOI has, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 days or 20 days, or maybe 10 days, 10 days to respond. And I don't know if the order of conditions have been written. I'm in the blind. I don't know from Concom, if anybody's on Concom out there that could answer this.
Well, Roxanne told me that she'd spoken to Sally.
When was this?
Well, Roxanne told me this morning that she'd spoken to Sally, and I think that was yesterday, and I understand that's going forward. So I would think that at our next scheduled meeting, that should be next Friday, that we would know about that.
Well, the only reason that I question it is because I looked at the agenda from the Concom, and I may have not maybe missed it or looked at the wrong one, but I didn't see harvester order of condition on the agenda. So I don't know. I'm just saying I'm in the blind here.
Okay, well, I think that.
We can communicate with Jamie.
Yeah, we'll find this
She's
out
on the
next
Concom.
Friday, if, at a regularly scheduled meeting. That's what
right.
I think. So, but I had the feeling that it was moving along. That's what I thought.
Well, I was hoping it was moving along.
Well, with the dredging process still up in the air, so we'll pass that.
Well, the dredging, I think it should be for next week.
It'll be for next week, yeah.
Well, I just want to make a comment that it's so important that we have a meeting.
Yeah.
Because Stockbridge Bow Association has their annual meeting on the 7th.
Tomorrow.
And On the 7th of August.
Okay.
I apologize. Thank you.
No, it's you.
Yeah. And there's so much money that's been contributed to this, and they want to report. And we need to get some answers from GZA via the town. So that's why it's important that Roxanne,
Talk to GCA, is it Roxanne?
Greg Wellenkamp, and myself.
Back to the harvester, do we have an operator yet?
I will operate. I think they asked me to do it. I have to give the papers into the town.
Yeah.
I will gladly help. I'm not going to be the only operator. I can only do it so many hours a week.
Bruce is up.
Yeah, well, but with the amount of harvesting that's done in the main areas, 3 days a week will probably be all we can do with what the area is allowed to us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it hopefully will be covered.
They put an advertisement in and for 3 help.
I thought your son was.
He is.
Oh, he is, okay.
He's working for the Parks and Rec.
Okay,
But they had 3, they wanted to hire 3 summer helpers.
Right.
We got 1.
yeah, well, they asked me, I'm signing on to help.
Good for you.
So Mike, you and your son,
Well,
is that
he's
enough?
for Huey. He's
2 people enough?
He's mowing and weed whacking. Yeah.
At the moment, but he may be put on the
So
harvest.
that will not be an obstacle then?
Hopefully not.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to raise a point of order just since you broached the subject. Are we having our regularly scheduled meeting next Friday?
Let's just
Okay.
talk that at the end, yeah, when we decide that. Water testing in the bowl, Mike?
We are scheduling currently, I'm emailing Chris Main back and forth because the town contract with GZA, they come up 2 times a summer, or 3 times. They came up, we did a testing in May or April, and then we did it last month, and then this month, we're scheduling right now. We're hoping to get out next week. And GZA comes up. Chris Main will be coming out with me and Mark on Mark's boat, and we'll do all the sampling and whatnot.
Okay, great.
Could I just ask a question?
Yeah.
About water testing? This isn't the bowl water testing idea, but you sent me the water quality for the Stockbridge water. Yeah, good. Are you going to report on that with your regular talk? Do you want to say anything about that now? Thanks for sending that.
So I think it's the 22nd year that we have been doing that. It's a DEP mandated. It's called the Consumer Confidence Report. It's to let our customers know certain water qualities and what's going on with DEP and all of our sampling and what we sample for, a whole host of different things in the little document. We used to have to mail it out to every single customer, but now what we do is we put the URL for the document is on the town website in the water department tab. And because it was very costly to send it out to everybody. And so now everybody, when they get their bill, they can see the URL on there and go on the town website and read it if they want. But it's an informative little document that we have to do, and we send it into the DEP in Boston, and they, critique it and make sure we have all our stuff in there that we're supposed to have.
Water testing is not new to you.
Oh, no. We test for over 100 contaminants every year.
Very impressive report. Very impressive report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any pertinent reports? Anybody want to raise any issues, questions? Gary?
I have a couple of, just want to, the fence at the boat ramp. I spoke with Jane Iredale about it, and because the selectman mentioned the fence was illegal, it's a 4-foot chain link. And I mentioned that to Jane and told her that if we could take that little section that overhangs the lake down, it might be overlooked. And she got a little, not a little upset, but she got a little defensive. And she said she was thinking of taking the fence down and putting up a more solid fence, but the fence was 7 feet inside her property line, and that if she put it up, she would want to put it on the property line, which would take 7 feet away from the boat ramp. So she says, but I'm wondering, I think we should check the property line there. And I wonder who would have that, probably public access.
Well, I looked at it yesterday. I heard that tidbit of information, and I looked at it on our GIS system, which anybody can go on the town assessors and look at the GIS, and it's pretty darn accurate. And it looks to me that the property line is right on where the fence is right now. I'd be,
Okay.
I mean, that's out in the parking lot, but, anyway, I mean, when she bought her property, I would imagine a survey was probably done. Not really sure. Most of the time there is. Pins are located or maybe there's not, but, so anyway,
I think,
she would definitely have to get, I mean, that's state property. It's not ours. It's town.
you know what I'll do? I'll call up
that.
Cameron and I'll ask him what we should do.
Gary, worst case scenario, let's assume that the fence were relocated 7 feet from the ramp. Would you foresee any kind of hardships or any kind of problems? What kind of problems would you foresee?
Be cutting back quite a bit on the parking on the south side of the ramp, and that's a major bite. We're talking 3,000 square feet there. I mean, again, I would want to recheck that property line. I mean, I can go out with a metal detector and see if I can find old pipes or something, but they're still in the ground.
I would think that if, she wants to move the fence, she's gonna have to prove to the state that her property lines are where she says they are, so before you go putting the fence up.
So is there any way sometimes of just letting it lie? Sometimes that just passes over.
I told her not to worry about the fence. The selectmen said if we took that little overhang off that the fishermen had complained about, that they would kind of overlook it. It's been there a long time, too.
Right.
Yeah, it has.
So we may just want to leave it.
Right.
And the other thing, as I mentioned to Charlie, we've got a stand of 4 oak trees on the north side of the boat ramp. But the other day, I'm noticing there's about a foot of, the high water has washed out a lot of the sand, the earth underneath them, and those are going to be in danger pretty soon. And I think the selectmen should get in touch with public access and ask them what work they're going to do and when they're going to do it.
How will we notify the selectmen? Are you going to contact them?
Roxanne is aware of this. I've mentioned it to her, and they have to, again, I can talk to Doug Cameron, but it's going to be completely, off the record because I have no standing. The selectmen have the standing. The contract is, that with public access is with the selectmen. So they should be communicating with him as to what work can be done and who's going to be paying and, all that. I think they do most of it out of their budget, in public access.
Thank you, Gary. Before we adjourn, we used to have meetings on the Fridays, the first and third Fridays of the month. Then we went out of sync at that time because of the holidays. Our next meeting was scheduled for the 22nd, which is a Thursday, which I don't think makes any sense, given the fact that, as Michael raises, the questions that have to be answered soon regarding the harvesting. Would we want to go back to the first and third, which means that we would have a meeting next July on the 16th? It would be a Friday.
I think that regardless, we need to have a meeting with Concom and Select Board at this meeting as soon as possible. There are certain issues that we have, and summer's running out and we need answers on certain things. So my vote is that we should have a meeting next week, even if we call it an emergency meeting or whatever it is, but it also coincidentally gets us back on track.
We don't have Jamie here and we don't have Roxanne here, so it would certainly be helpful if they were in agreement with the 16th. But I see your point, Michael, and I think we should have that meeting on 16th and then decide at that point if we're going to start having them the first and third. Everybody in agreement with that?
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I think having a meeting next Friday makes a lot of sense because originally we were scheduled to have meetings on the first and third. So that makes a lot of sense. And I think we can wait to make that more general determination. I'd go for that. Wait.
Okay.
But so we'll have a meeting next Friday at 8 o'clock.
8
You have a
o'clock.
motion, you have to do that whole motion.
All right, so we'll have a motion that,
So moved.
Mike, you want to?
Yeah, I vote for it. Everybody vote for it?
In agreement.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, being that there are no other issues, take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
So moved. John, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.